Evening, Sword Family. Welcome to the Teahouse. We're trying out this whole leaving the comments on the screen thing, and I can't read them, but maybe someone can. I don't know. And it is time once again for tea time. But since I ran out of people to interview, we are bringing back Trey, our favorite guest, because we had an hour and a half conversation on camera and then another 40 to 45 minutes off camera. So possibly another 2-hour conversation. We'll see where it goes. Now, first, I have to show this off. We're drinking something new tonight. I saw something earlier this week at my local Kroger and decided it was going to be tried on screen. And that is Lipton Fusion Iced Tea. This is strawberry lemonade. And I also have a pineapple mango lemonade that I'm probably going to be trying next week. So look forward to that one. Let's go through the very short comments here. First to the door, as always, or mostly always, is Foxy. Hello and welcome to the Teahouse. Please remember to like and share. Wow, she's just right on the ball tonight. And Donna is joining us. Hey, Foxy. Hello, Donna. And there's Kitty. Hey there. Hello, Kitten. And greeting for Kitty. And hi from Foxy. And Ruby is joining us. Evening Maestra and Thesis. Well, you have a title now. And one of my patrons, Joe Bachman. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Joe. Glad to see you made it home in time, Donna and Carl. Oh, yeah. And Donna greeting Joe. And I imagine Donna's probably still on the road or might have just gotten home, depending on how long she stayed to chat with a talker. Yeah, probably. Donna and Carl have been home since about 5. So that would be 3 or 4 my time, I think. Sound like folks had a good day, yeah? How'd you like your beret, Donna? Inigo is being extra cuddly today, so expect interruptions. Yeah. He was trying to eat my face backstage before, so. Beautiful. Need to take a pic of it and share. Yes, you do. I want to see it. Also decided that AC is a good thing and not so scary. Yeah, had to turn the air conditioning on yesterday because it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 81 degrees in our apartment. So, yeah, I think it's time for... Carl was watching 10 Favorite Weapons and had to stop to come over. Well, you can finish it after we're done. Foxy watched it a bit ago. I know Kitty watched it earlier today because she told me. I had a lot to catch up on today, having been outdoors in the sun. Sun is hurty. Yeah, it can be. And greeting for me. And greeting for me. And I hope that's a greeting for me, but you never know. Might be for Trey. Who knows? Looks good. Greetings for Joe. Might have to see if Meyer has those. They might. I found them in between aisles. It was kind of towards the back. It was just on a big display. So and more greetings. Have to try some if he leaves any. Well, if you want to come grab the can, you can. I can turn the camera off for a minute. Hey, Ruby and Witzman dude. Yes. How'd you keep Inigo off the couch during the recording with all the weapons? Funny you should mention that. It's called he was passed out in the bedroom with Foxy. That's exactly how I did it. I waited to film that until I knew he was asleep, and I had no idea that filming that was going to take 35 minutes. I'm like, we're just going to talk about, my top 10 favorite weapons. Yeah, no. 35 minutes later. Yeah, see, did during nap time. Smart. Would, but I'm dogged. Okay. I will just set the can aside and hopefully it'll still be cold by the time we're done. All right. So, everyone already knows my very, very awesome guest that I first had a discussion with 8 months ago. And we're coming back around for part R, because it is Chinese. So, R. Round of applause for Trilaina Bachman.
Hello, hello.
We should have just turned the camera on as soon as you got in the room and just started the stream then.
Yeah.
We've already
As
had a bit of a...
shoveling leftover Chinese food in my face.
Hey. Oh my God, that's good. Yeah. That's going to be dangerous. It's cold, but, you know. Yes, it is. It is our tray. One of these days, either we're going to have to make it up there or you're going to have to make it down here because I have so much cool shit.
We'll meet in the middle. Then it'll be like a 12-hour
drive
for either of us.
God, where would the middle be?
I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. I guess it would depend on which way that you went because, like,
yeah,
I have to tell this story. It has nothing to do with nothing, but normally when we go visit her family, we go kind of down.
Uh-huh.
So we go down and across Colorado.
Okay.
Well, one time we were taking some friends of ours who are actually not friends anymore, but that's completely beside the point. And they had a doctor's appointment in Salt Lake.
Okay.
Which is like 2 hours above us. So we're like, okay, so we'll just go hit Salt Lake, then go across Wyoming, then go down. That was the dumbest idea we ever could have had.
Oh, no.
It would have literally been faster to come back down the 2 hours and take the regular route because it took us a day and a half to get there.
Oh, my gosh.
We had to stop. I think it was in Wyoming and get a hotel because we ran out of day.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Like driving across Wyoming. I did the majority of the driving for the day. And I'm like, are we still in Wyoming? What is this?
It's just forever Wyoming.
That was also the time that we stopped at a Walmart to get dinner. And when we left, there was a random car on fire parked on the side of the road.
You know what? Walmart, like, yeah. What interstate was it? Or was it just random town road?
I'm pretty sure it was an interstate.
Okay, yeah, random interstate things. Oh, hi.
Oh, we have another guest.
We have Brad. Yeah, stay away from the fire.
We're driving and there's just this like little bright dot off in the distance, and we're like,
I'm gonna turn up the new bit.
That's the wrong color for headlights, and it's facing the wrong direction.
Good.
And as we get closer, it's literally a car on like engulfed in flames. You could barely make out the frame of the car. She hops on and calls 911, and they're like, "Yes, we know."
Yeah. So
thank you for calling again, but we're fully aware that there's a car on fire. We have people, yeah.
So yeah, don't park under a bridge if your car is on fire. Thanks, Brett. I can't see anything, so thank you. But so the number of times I've had to call 911 and tell them, "Hey, it's on fire under a bridge. If you could handle that very quickly, that'd be great."
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, don't park under a bridge if it's on fire. What's going to happen? Is it going to rain on the fire? Like, come on, guys.
Greetings to Trey from Donna. And Chinese food, yeah. We did that when we took my parents up to the airport on Monday. We stopped and had Panda Express for lunch. Don't get to do it very often because we literally have to drive like an hour and a half to get Chinese food now because our restaurant closed. Bastards.
Yeah, New Hong Kong around here. Peter knows what he's doing. And I had leftover Buddha's Delight.
Oof.
Oh, it's good.
And the Wyoming mosquitoes. Yeah. She gets out of the car in Wyoming and you see a cloud of mosquitoes just like rise up out of the bush. And,
oh my gosh.
Fly straight for
her. You were targeted, ma'am.
She really was. Kearney, Nebraska. Okay. So Nebraska is halfway. And that's almost most of the way to Foxy's. I keep telling her that we're going to like take the train or something to go visit her family. And then like part of the way there decide, nah, screw it. Let's just keep going.
Then just keep going.
Because yeah, we don't get along with them very much anymore.
Well, then you just stop and then you'd be like, oh, we're visiting our friends. We have to keep going. See?
700 miles each side. Ugh. Little blood-sucking bastards. Yeah.
They like type O blood best. I've learned this because I am type O blood, and there's actually been research on it.
We could be walking like together side by side and they will attack her and mostly leave me alone. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, late Thursday night, and I'm talking like late Thursday night.
Oh my goodness.
Like midnight, I started watching it. I went back and rewatched our original interview with my lovely word pad of questions.
I can't believe it was that long ago.
I know. And it was 8 months. Almost to the day, actually.
I mean, we do see each other like at least once a week, though, usually.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it doesn't seem that long ago.
It probably is. But I went back and rewatched to go see which questions I got added after the interview. And then I've added a few more. We're going to see how long this one takes. I don't know. We might just not turn the camera off until like my dinner shows up in like 2 hours. We'll see what happens. Oh my God, that is good. And Midnight is joining us. Hey, Midnight.
Hey.
So if anybody else in the audience has any questions, please feel free to ask, because this is probably just going to be like, I almost imagine this as like two fighters meeting before a bout and just sitting across the table and just visiting and discussing right before they go out and beat the hell out of each other. So we'll see.
What the Teahouse was for.
Doctor said you were not type O.
Oh.
Shouldn't you be able to check your little doctor app and it'll tell you what your blood type is?
Probably. Maybe? I know mine because I used to give blood all the time.
Hey, Pupper.
So the Red Cross gave me like the donor card, and it says on my donor card.
Oh. I don't think I've ever donated blood, but ooh, okay. Joe's starting us right off the bat, since it is the Teahouse. What's your favorite type? Herbal? Not
verbal. Okay. Hot or cold? Because I have different for hot and different for cold. Mint tea when it's hot is my favorite. I actually grow my own mint, so I can like chocolate mint tea. Yes.
Okay.
Like chocolate mint is the thing, not like chocolate and mint, chocolate mint tea. And cold tea, hibiscus.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to go with wild cherry for hot, because that's the herbal essential black cherry is just I wish I could find that stuff around here, but I just cold. I think I'm gonna have to go with this.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't So I went with ginger peach turmeric tonight because it's caffeine free.
Oh, yeah.
But there is one I like in the wintertime. It's maple ginger.
Ooh.
And if you sweeten it with maple syrup, oh,
Okay, then.
It's good.
All right. Did you spit on a gypsy?
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Might have some in her bloodline. Yeah, we've heard that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so since you already, answered the what are you drinking, that's always going to be the very first question.
Peach ginger turmeric tea. I actually have tea for the Teahouse this time.
With favorite on-screen sword fight.
So it's either Princess Bride, of course, because they actually like use the proper techniques, naming the actual masters. Like or Captain Blood. The sword fight in that.
All right, yeah.
That one's good. That one's really good.
I think I might have been hallucinating, but I swear I read somewhere that they're like remaking that.
Are they?
I swear I read that somewhere. Maybe.
I don't.
Or I could absolutely be hallucinating that and just being like, I want them to remake it.
I want them to.
Yes.
That was such a good movie.
It was, and I'm usually not much for like the older kind of swashbuckling style. I wasn't. I shouldn't say I'm not. I wasn't. And then I started watching Jill Barrett and her like fight reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, okay. Might have to give this another shot now.
Yeah. Like I love the old black and white, like when the actors had to be talented.
Yeah,
because they actually learned to sword fight, and they were actually talented.
Yeah,
I love those.
Kind of like the old kung fu movies when you actually had to, like my favorite fight, and it's not a sword fight; it's an unarmed fight, but it's the fight between Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung in Ip Man 2.
Okay.
When they're fighting on the tabletop. Because if you watch that fight, they get to a point where they're like throwing rapid fire punches at each other and punching to block the other person. That's at full speed. They're actually going.
Yeah.
Like that's not CGI. They're not like split screen. No, they're really just.
Yeah, it's not special effects. It's them doing it. Yeah.
Since you've done Shakespeare in the Park kind of thing, your favorite Shakespearean sword fight?
Oh. Stage play sword fighting is so different, though.
It is, yeah.
It's so terrible when you actually know how to sword fight.
Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be stage. It can be like a movie.
Yeah. Okay, so my favorite Shakespearean sword fight is in, I think it's Porky's 2. My kingdom for a sword! And I think it's a leg they hand him.
It just makes me laugh because
it's my favorite. Because it's just so utterly ridiculous.
In Jade Empire, there's one fight that I know of. There might be more, but there's only one that I know of where you're actually taking part in like an old school tavern brawl.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually in a tea house.
Okay.
But when you're fighting in the game, you can hit the top trigger buttons to lock onto an enemy, or you can press them again and it's just kind of free form. And there's one table that's kind of off in a corner.
Yeah.
And if you don't know it's there, you're going to fight like right in the middle of the screen and not mess with it. But you can kick somebody into that table, it'll break the table, and then you can pick up the table legs.
Yes.
And you can use them as like weapons. And if you go farther back, there was a turkey leg on the table when you broke it. And it gets like launched, and you can pick up a turkey leg and start beating people with a turkey leg.
That would be the greatest thing ever. Just have you ever played Medieval 2? Have you ever played Medieval 2? You play as like a skeleton dude with like no lower jaw.
Yeah.
But your first weapon, you take your own arm off and you're just beating people with your own arm. That is your first weapon.
Why not?
It works. It also works as a boomerang. You can throw your own arm.
Throw it and be like, come back here.
Come back here, I need you.
You need to have a game where you can do that and like you can throw it and it'll like Cousin It style walk back to you.
That would be awesome.
Get back here, I need you. It annoyed me because I remember watching the trailers for the game and seeing people get beat with a turkey leg, and I put like hours
trying to
into the game. Where the hell is the turkey leg? Oh yeah, it's on the ground. You just have to go search for it.
There's a lot of ground in that game. Come on.
Oh, there really is though. It was
open world,
probably one of my first like I'd obviously played Knights of the Old Republic and things like that. But it was probably the first MMO style game that I'd ever played where you actually have to press the attack button.
Okay.
You can't just be like, okay, 3, and then it'll go and auto attack for you. No, you have to actually attack and block and all the stuff yourself. So here's a question that I just pulled off the top of my head because Hollywood loves to remake Shakespeare movies and like modernize them, right? So if you had to pick a Shakespeare play or film to modernize that hasn't already been done, which one would you pick?
My favorite, Comedy of Errors.
Okay, yeah. All right. The last one that I remember actually sitting down and watching all the way through, because there's been a couple of times where I'm like, this is awful.
Oh, yeah.
Carl, that's been done.
Othello. Okay.
That's been done. That has been done as a modern. It's got, oh, God, what's his name? It's going to bug me. But it takes place at a prep school.
Oh, yeah.
It's just called O. The main character is called Odin James. He's a basketball player.
Yeah. I mean, Macbeth has been done so many times.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's called O. Go look it up. It's kind of hard to find, but it's almost like a direct, like, Taming the Shrew was redone as the main, but they didn't use any of the dialogue. But then you have like Hamlet, they've done, and they just used Shakespearean dialogue in modern day.
What'd you think of the Leo version of Romeo and Juliet?
Oh my God. Okay, one thing. Tybalt in that movie and Mercutio. Oh my God. Those two, that was probably one of the best, or two of the best portrayals I'd ever seen on film of those two characters.
So we started watching, it's part of high school. You go through Romeo and Juliet.
Of course.
And our teacher was like, okay, now we watch the movie of it. And she was like, oh, we can watch the Leonardo DiCaprio version. You girls love Leonardo DiCaprio. And we started it, and we all looked at her and went, can we go back to the old version, please?
Can we not?
We liked that version better. And we went back to the old version because it was Yeah.
The scene earlier when he's like, hand me my longsword, and reaches for a shotgun, and there's a plate underneath that says longsword. I'm just like, oh my God, really? Can we not? Carl, come on, dude.
I did not enjoy it in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry, Carl.
From Mercutio, though. Holy hell. Like, that was crazy good.
Ooh. But Midsummer Night's Dream would be cool if they did a modernized version.
I think that might have been done. I might have to look it up. Ooh. But the last one that I remember sitting through and watching the entire thing was Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay.
It was done by Joss Whedon, and the entire movie was in black and white for no damn reason. Like, why?
I don't mind black and white, but...
And he had, like... Joss Whedon has, like, a small pool of people that he puts in, like, every goddamn thing that he does.
Yeah, he's like John Wayne.
So I own it because I'm a massive Shakespeare buff. I have the complete works of Shakespeare in the bedroom.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I see, modern retelling, I'm like, okay.
So have you ever seen the Reduced Shakespeare Company's Shakespeare?
No.
So they take all of his works and they reduce it down. And it's the funniest thing. It's meant to be a comedy, but then they get to the very end and it's heart-wrenching. And you're like, oh, I wasn't here for feels. Okay. And there's one, and it's the guy that plays like the fool that, gets your feels. I'll send you a link to it. The Talkerts introduced me to it. I find it utterly delightful. It's just, I want to pass it along to everybody. I'm like, watch it.
If we're passing things on, there actually is a Chinese kung fu version of, oh God, now I can't think of, I think it was Hamlet, actually.
Pass that on,
Legend of the Black Scorpion.
Pass that on, please.
Yeah, it's called Legend of the Black Scorpion.
I need to watch that.
Yes, I own it. Dragon Dynasty, they did their re-release and made it in like 4K and shit. Oh, it is wow. Shame on you, Carl.
Had us going there for a minute.
There actually was I want to say it was Ethan Hawke that did a modern Hamlet, and it actually wasn't terrible.
Okay.
But it wasn't great either. What is your least favorite person or kind of person to spar against?
The ones that are out there to prove something. Especially the ones that are there to prove they're the best, or that they're better than somebody, or that they have nothing left to learn.
The kind of person that shows up on day one like, you can't teach me anything. Okay, then leave.
I've learned everything. I'm a master. And like, sir, you watched one tutorial video. Like, all right, cool. You know a lot. Great. But nothing left to learn. You've stopped learning. Or they're of the opinion that, oh, because you're this, you're inferior to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we're not sparring.
Yeah, you can go.
Every time I've sparred against someone like that, they've gone out of their way to try to hurt me. And I'm not doing that.
If you honestly have nothing to prove, then why are you trying so hard?
Yeah, like
to damage someone else.
Yeah, I'm not here to just get hurt for your entertainment.
I'm big and buff and strong. Look at my muscles. Okay, but that just means that, like I said last time, my Scottish friend, the dude is gigantic.
Yeah,
and he's very muscular. And I'm like, okay, if he catches me, he's going to crush me.
Yeah, it's
So
all over.
I'm not going to let him catch me.
Yeah, right away.
I'm going to be Muhammad Ali for a little bit and
Float like a butterfly.
pop in, pop out, and stop it. No.
No.
Why would I want you to
Get
do
off
that?
your high horse. No, it's technically advantageous to stay up here.
So then what is your most favorite person? Or kind of person?
So there's the kind of people that I call fun fights.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to be good fights, but they're fun fights. And it's just people that are out there and they're out there because it's in their blood. You know? You've watched Sword Sage's stuff.
Oh yeah.
I've sparred with Sword Sage. He has a fun fight. And it's the kind of people that after a spar, you're both grinning and it doesn't matter who won. You're both just, that was good. And how'd you do that? How'd you do that? Like, show me that, you know? Those are the people I love to fight. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter like what they fight or how they fight, just fun fights.
That was the whole reason that we found like a database or something online of like all of the HEMA people in the United States. I doubt that it's actually like up to date, but we found someone in our area.
Okay.
And we contacted this person. We were hoping to kind of build a small collective of like, we'll learn some HEMA stuff from you. We'll teach you some Asian stuff. And we met him the first day out at our local archery range. And within 5 minutes, he had said a dozen things that pissed me off.
Just insufferable.
Just conceited. I know everything. I'm just like, okay, dude.
I've met one person and I was like, oh, you do, rapier or something like that. And they just kind of, I do épée. And I was like, conversation done. All right. Like, okay, we're done. Like, I just wanted to like talk sword fighting with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're supposed to be, our local guy, and you show up and we're introducing ourselves, and I mentioned that I was studying Bagua at the time, and he's like, oh, so I'm sure you know circle walking and changing direction. I'm like, yes. Are you testing me or are you just a dick?
Right? Like, are we having a conversation or are you trying to do a test?
And like, then, we all showed up at the archery range, so we all showed up with our bows, and he goes to string his bow and does it wrong and smacks himself in the face with the top of the bow.
Beautiful.
I'm like, don't laugh.
Like, sir, do you need assistance? Do you know how to do that?
And then I get onto a stance and I knock my arrow, and he's like, you're doing that wrong.
I'm doing it correctly for my style. Please mind
Shut
your
up.
business. Right? Like, no, people like that, just insufferable. I can't.
Yes.
Like, please no.
Oh, we have a question. Okay.
Oh.
Do you think nunchucks are effective? Would you prefer a hanbo or nunchuck? Well, effective at what?
I was gonna say those are completely out of my wheelhouse. I'm a Western martial artist. I've seen Eastern stuff, but that's definitely more your wheelhouse.
Because the very first thing I ever picked up was a pair of nunchucks.
Okay.
They were homemade. They were really, really poorly balanced because I literally just took 2 broomsticks and cut the end off of them.
Okay.
And then I drilled holes in the end and like tied them together with rope. So they were not the greatest thing ever made, and I wasn't going based on any like style or anything. I picked him up because I was a fan of Bruce Lee, so I started watching Bruce Lee movies and watching the shit that he did. Do I
And
think
that's
they're
what you did.
effective in a fight? Yes,
Okay.
if you know what you're doing.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but so every time I see them used, they seem like they're more used to get space.
They can be,
Okay.
because depending on like over here, and this has been proven. I've seen this for a fact. The chains over here in the West are shorter
Okay. Yeah.
by like an inch and a half, 2 inches.
Oh, that much.
So if you get a pair of nunchucks from over in the East, the gap between them is so much bigger.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And you can absolutely use them to like get someone to back off. Like they're
Yeah.
too close and you want to like pop and they'll get back because they want to get outside of that range.
Yeah.
But it's basically a flail.
Yeah.
It's
That sounds
basically like a
more.
morning star. You want to have momentum, which is why you see a lot of those flashy moves where they're switching hands. You're doing
Yeah.
that to get momentum. It's like a lot of flexible weapons. You want to be constantly moving them, which is
Okay.
incredibly tiring.
That makes more sense. I didn't realize you were doing that to get momentum. It just
Yeah,
looked
you want to
showy.
be moving because it's a flexible weapon. You get more power by, going from back here,
Yeah.
swinging forward or swinging sideways than just going, straight out.
Yeah.
So I think they are an effective weapon if you know what you're doing and if you have someone and you want to get them outside of your personal bubble,
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it. Now, if you have someone that's farther away and you want to keep them farther away, then a staff is like,
no square.
back up, get out of the way. So it is fully like situational.
Okay.
If you have like a big group of people,
Mm-hmm.
for me, and this is my personal opinion, I would prefer nunchucks, and I'll tell you why. It's the exact same reason that people want to do crowd control with big two-handed Montante style swords.
Okay.
You can swing that thing and people are not going to want to get within the spinning blade of death.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that situation, lots of people, you want to have something you can swing around and keep them back.
Yeah. It's definitely an intimidation thing too.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just, that I can do the thing and then it looks like I'm also doing a thing.
Yeah. Can always pick up something from everyone, even if something they're doing wrong that you've not seen before. Exactly.
If you can't be a good example, be an example of what not to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you mentioned in our first conversation that you wanted to learn quarterstaff or rope dart.
Yeah.
So have my videos on the staff helped you get over that fear of like getting your arms tangled up and stuff?
So actually it made a lot of sense with the quarterstaff, especially when you said it's like rowing a boat, because I grew up on the water. I grew up rowing boats. So that analogy, I was like, son of a gun, I know how to do that.
There you go, see?
So yeah. So now I need to get the quarterstaff, which
you need to get a stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh darn. More stuff in my house.
Well, I mean, and it's
more
toys.
Like
you not even have to like go to.
Oh no!
Go get a stick. Go get a broomstick.
Yeah, I mean, I got like a piece of wood that would work as a small staff.
And that was like full on like the reason why I made that staff turn video.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, she mentioned that she wanted to learn quarterstaff, but was afraid of getting her arms tangled up, which in that 3-point turn, yeah, your arms are like right here. They're,
yeah.
But all you have to do is drop this hand and you're out, and you just keep going. You
I
have
also
given me.
have a long staff that was made for me, so
Oh,
I can
yeah.
also practice with that.
You have given me so many ideas for just short form videos. I have a list on Google, and I've filmed a couple of them, and I'm just like, we
Have
should
some
change the film.
content.
No, not in the house. I know.
Not in the house.
Well, actually, I did film the staff turn video in the living room. So, but yes, Kitty, when we first talked, and I asked if she could learn any weapon from anywhere in the world, she mentioned quarterstaff and rope dart. So
It's cool looking.
it absolutely is. That was, not to give
Especially
any
when they
spoilers.
light it on fire.
Yeah, not to give any spoilers, but that was one of the weapons on my list is the rope dart, because I literally said it is poetry in motion.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Just
I was waiting for things to kind of calm down a little bit more before hitting up Kitty and being like, so how to start?
oh, absolutely. She's been learning a lot from YouTube, which is it's a good
Oh yeah.
resource. Just
Yeah, once you find the good tutorials,
that's the issue, is finding the good tutorials and not just people like the ones we were talking about earlier. I have nothing left to learn. I am the compendium of all martial arts on earth. No, you're not. Shut up.
I am the master of the masters. Sir, your shoe's untied.
If she was being that strict, Carl, I wouldn't have been able to film the videos I was able to film right over here. I just wait until she goes to bed.
God, you're gonna get dawned. Don't threaten you with a good time.
I mean, whatever. So, has your opinion on Eastern martial arts changed in any way after the videos I've done and the conversations that we have had?
So, I don't think it's changed, just expanded, because I always thought of Eastern martial arts as, they're martial arts, they're beautiful, they're I always thought of them as legit martial arts, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think I've learned that there's a lot more in common with Western martial arts than I originally thought.
And there are?
Because between our discourses, it's like, oh, that you guys have the same thing. It's just called something different, things like that. So we have more in common than I thought.
And that's really a big thing that a lot of people who stay within their insular bubbles of Eastern or Western or whatever martial arts, if they stay in that bubble, they don't realize that who do this thing, they probably do too. They probably have a completely different name for it.
Yeah.
But there's only so many ways the human body can move.
Exactly. Like, it's a hinge joint. It's only supposed to move like this. Like, if it moves other ways, there might be a problem. Sorry, but okay, body slam the door. That's fine. He does it all day.
Since we probably don't have time for a top 10, what are your top 5 favorite weapons?
So, offensive buckler is just, let's see, top weapons. Oh, daggers. Mm-hmm. Bread and butter. Let's see. Top 5.
See, it's harder than it looks, isn't it?
All my babies. They're all my babies.
Trying to pick just 10. And some of them were ones that I don't personally own, but I want them.
Right. For sheer practicality, walking stick.
Okay.
Hat pin.
Yeah.
Oh man, one more?
Mm-hmm.
Just one?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sitting here going, okay, which one? Like on the
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy, where do we go? Oh, Italian side sword.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, good question, Ruby. I like this one. What weapon would you choose if you had to fight multiple opponents?
Double dagger.
Kind of figured that'd be your answer.
Yeah. Double dagger. All day, every day. Second would probably be dagger and buckler.
Dagger and buckler, really?
Yeah. Well, multiple opponents. So buckler, I'm used to punching out with it and defending with it, obviously. And dagger, multiple opponents, I can move faster with the dagger.
Well, yeah, of course.
And I can maneuver it faster and easier through a tangle than I would with a sword.
Yeah. When you have a longer and a shorter weapon, you have to always be constantly aware that one of them is longer than the other.
Mm-hmm. Which I do fight sword and dagger. And the dagger tends to go take the place of the buckler for me when I do that until I get in close to somebody. Then it turns into the stabby again. Why are you yelling? Okay.
They want to be part of the conversation too.
They can come in here. That's why I keep the door open.
Oh God. Okay, my arm doesn't bend that way, bro.
Inigo's on there.
Yeah, hi, bud. Do you have a question? Huh?
But yeah, it also depends on how many and how far apart they are and how stupid they are. Because if they're gonna one off me in with room, probably a sword.
Yeah.
Sword and buckler probably. But if they're gonna do the smart thing and dogpile, daggers.
Yeah. When we were doing our little boffer group several years ago, our quote unquote king, I have known this guy most of my life.
Yeah.
His mom and my mom were best friends growing up. Mm-hmm. So naturally, when they had kids around the same time, oh, you're going to be friends too.
Yeah, don't force the friendships. Don't force the friendships.
And he was the one who brought me into the boffer group, and I was part of his kingdom.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like our group was kind of sad, honestly. Because you had him, who he is one of those people who, well, I've been taking karate since I was 8 years old, so I know everything. No, you don't. Shut up.
Okay, great.
And then you had his wife, who got pregnant halfway through the season.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had you had those two. Then you had me and Foxy, and then there were 2 or 3 other people that had absolutely no training whatsoever.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to train. And his idea of training was, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is an overhead block. This is a low block. This is a side block. This is another side block. If they attack overhead, you do the overhead block. If they attack your side, you do either side block. If they attack low, you do the low block. Okay, let's go home. Hold on, dude. Wait a minute.
What?
Yeah, that was
more to it than that.
That was his training.
Okay, go break your ankles and your knees and, mess yourself up for life. Have fun.
So after that first time, me and Foxy came back home and we're like, okay, this is not how we do this.
Yeah, no.
So we sat down at our kitchen table and got a notebook out, and we just started coming up with different forms of training for different situations.
Yeah. You were strategizing.
Exactly. We came up with battle formations. We came up with like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Because we did that first practice right before the first battle. And the poor 2 or 3 people that had no training whatsoever got demolished.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible. But me and Foxy were paying attention. We're looking at like what are the other houses doing? How do they fight?
Yeah.
How can we fight against them?
Yeah, what are their formations? How are they attacking? How are they defending? What are they?
So we sat down and we're just coming up with stuff. And one of the things I wanted to do, and I implemented this at our next practice, was a bull ring.
Okay,
Having one person stand in the center with all of the other fighters surrounding them. And at first, especially with the people who had no prior training, it was one attack at a time.
Yeah. Get them used to attacks coming from different
and then
areas.
As they got better, it was 2 attacks at a time from different directions, And by the end of the season, the one other girl who had no prior training, she was lasting for battles longer than the king was.
Yes.
Because she's like, okay, situational awareness here.
We used to have a game that we called the Valhalla Circle of Death. And it was everybody for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
To start off, you just stood in a circle. And initially, you couldn't attack the people on either side of you because, that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And then it just turned into a brawl. And if you got killed, you walked off. If the person that killed you got killed, you came back. So it got down, you had to kill everybody to win.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes those could go forever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were fun. Oh, they were fun.
We had so many games. Like originally it was like you had these individual, they were called houses, but they were basically kingdoms.
Yeah.
And you'd show up and you'd have like house battles, or you'd have battle royals, but like halfway through, they just started doing just random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, we did capture the flag. And our king had me and Foxy and his wife guarding the flag while the rest of the group went to try and get the other flag. Well, they picked a park that is pretty well inclined.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we picked the lowest point
to
put our flag. And there were sidewalks. So here's a sidewalk. Our flag is right here.
Okay.
Touching the two. If you touch the sidewalk, you were out of bounds. And so we picked the lowest point. They picked the highest point.
Okay.
So the other group is running downhill to try and get our flag.
Just tumbling.
One guy. We kind of created like a corridor. So, you have a perfect angle here.
Yeah.
And we had our king's wife at the front, then me, and then Foxy was almost standing on the flag.
Nice.
To protect it. This one guy comes just barreling downhill full speed, and she hit him twice. He kept running, so I hit him. He kept running, so Foxy hits him. He's like, all right, shit, I'm dead. Stop.
We had one. We were doing capture the flag, and people kept forgetting that we were doing it was more like protect the egg and get it out of the field. Yeah. People kept forgetting the victory conditions and kept just getting into duels. So me and the other girl just kept running away with the egg and winning. So our side just kept winning because our team's like, we'll just keep challenging them to duels. Keep running. And that's all we did.
That was kind of capture the flag. You were supposed to get the flag and then run it back to your flag to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did it 5 times in a row.
Nobody won. Because our group is running uphill, so by the time they get to the top of the hill, they don't have enough energy.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
The other group is running downhill. They can't stop to grab the flag. It's like, this is just really poorly thought out right here.
Right. There's no winning. There's only losing less.
But my personal favorite time, actually I have two, but one of them, you were able to hire mercenaries. So you had to have mercenaries to hire in the group. They couldn't be part of any of the other houses.
Yeah.
There was one guy. And he was the only mercenary in the entire group. So we're having a house battle with our house versus another one.
Mm-hmm.
He's over there on their side. They're coming towards us. And he decides to attack me. Because I am the offensive person. I'm the one that will literally just stand there and wait for you to attack instead of just charging at you like a moron.
Yeah.
So he's coming face to face with me. And he gets within range of my sword. And I'm standing at a guard. And I went, I'll pay you double what they're paying. And he goes,
okay.
Heal, and turns around and kills the entire house. Single-handedly because they're not expecting it.
Oh yeah, I love mercs. They're great. Just I love them.
And they're like, wait a minute. We hired you. And he's like, so did he. And he's going to pay me more.
Paying me more. Yep. Oh, I love that.
If you get another cat, will you name it Butter to go with
bread? My gosh. Oh my gosh. That would be awesome. It would have to
be an orange cat, though.
I was going to say, if it's like one of the... It'd probably be Marmalade if it was orange.
Okay, yeah.
But Marmalade.
And Ruby wants to know why double daggers, so yeah, okay.
Mobility. Probably mobility, yeah. That's if they're smart and not dumb.
Yeah.
Because if they're smart, they're going to, like, just group attack. And none of that, one at a time, I'll be the one to beat them bullshit. Like, no, you just dogpile and start stabbing. That's how you win.
Maybe a pepper, jet spray, and offhand and light camping axe and main hand would be effective. Maybe.
Okay. If we're going modern, it's a can of wasp spray and, and then the dagger. Like, we're gonna wasp spray some eyes, and maybe a lighter too. We're gonna make a flamethrower.
Yes, fire. Fire is good.
Yeah, wasp spray, excellent self-defense item.
So you've obviously read at least a few martial arts manuals.
Mm-hmm. Just a couple.
So what do you wish martial arts manuals did better?
Better. So much. So very much. So very much. I wish they didn't just assume everybody knew what the terminology meant. Especially if they're going, like, if they're translating. Like, it's in Italian. Everybody knows what Italian numbers are. No, we don't. I don't know what Italian is. I don't want to have 19 different, different language to English dictionaries just to read a manual. Come on. That's why I bought the translation. If I was gonna buy the dictionary, I might as well just buy the actual thing and then translate it myself.
Translate it yourself, yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing. And then explain the steps between. They'll show you 2 plates and be like, go from here to here. Which I understand. The plates. Yeah. How did you get from this step to this step? I understand that when you have a master teaching you, they show you how to do that. However, when I buy a book as a manual, and you're supposed to be telling me how this manual is working, tell me the steps. Especially if there's, like, a gaining step involved. That drives me nuts every time. Like, stop trying to gatekeep it and keep the master's secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I paid my money for the book. Like, just tell me what's going on.
Yeah. I mentioned this in our first talk. I bought the official U.S. Wushu team Tian form, but it's all in Chinese.
Yeah.
And it shows you, this stance to this stance to this stance. And then in the back of the book, it shows you footwork of how your feet are supposed to move, but it doesn't really talk about the in between.
Yeah.
It's just
like
go from this stance to this stance. Okay,
yeah.
but how?
Yeah, a lot of the Western martial arts books don't show how your feet are supposed to go. They just assume that you know exactly how it's supposed to go, which the Western martial arts originally aren't supposed like this isn't supposed to be very linear. I'm not strip fencing. How did you put a spin move in there? Tell me where you spun. Come on. Drives me nuts.
Hairspray and Donna's big cigar light. Yeah.
Aquanet. Aquanet for the win.
Yeah, that's why. Don't you know why like modern hairspray doesn't actually come out in one spray anymore? It's one pump per spray.
Yeah.
It's because of
That's why I say wasp spray. It actually goes farther than pepper spray, and it's a continuous stream. So you're just allergic to wasps, guys. Just saying.
And Kitty says, "How did you like the buckler? Did you?"
Oh, it was like butter.
Was?
Oh, that buckler was amazing. What the whole pass, I got to use it before I twisted my ankle. Yeah, the ankle's good. The ankle's good. We're good. We're back in business. I just bruised it very badly. Well, not very badly. I was able to walk on it, but there was ice, there was elevation, there was rest. So good. But yeah, the buckler, it was like having an old friend back because I actually did have a buckler that we called the turtle shell that I had during my SCA days. That was I loved it. A friend made it for me and I loved it very much. And I couldn't use it with the HDPE stuff because it would take chunks out of it. So I stopped using. We didn't take chunks out, but we decided, it would damage the sword. So I stopped using it, and it was like getting that back. And no, to be honest, I really didn't know who Talhofer was. So
that
yeah,
surprises. I knew who Talhofer was, so that kind of surprises me.
Forever learning, my friend. Forever learning.
And that's awesome. I know I've said this like a million times, but that's like the whole reason I even started doing these interviews. And this entire channel is just to teach people.
Yeah.
Because I have been of the opinion for long before I was a martial artist that I never wanted to stop learning.
Yeah. I mean, I never connected it to being one of the masters. I was like, oh, obviously it's a style. Never connected it to a master. I was like, oh, maybe it's like the Gothic era. It's the Talhofer era or something. Yes. I don't know. My brain never decided it was a master and looked into it. So now I have something new to look into.
Keep learning,
Yep.
I found you through Nick, and I found Nick through Sword Sage, and it was just I had never learned a whole lot about European martial arts. I was strictly Chinese martial arts, and I wanted to learn more.
But what I had learned about Eastern martial arts were through Sword Sage, and he didn't make it to every practice, so it was bits and pieces whenever he did show up.
My feet hardly know where to go while walking, which is why I have not really introduced you to any of the manuals.
So whenever I'm reading from a manual, I read it first, and then I go back to the section, and I actually stand up while I'm reading it, and I'll do the step, and then if it gets to the portion of, okay, and now I'm teleporting somewhere, how would I go about it naturally?
Yeah.
Like, how would I go from here to here without breaking something.
And
It doesn't
the
make more
best
sense
part,
to turn this way or this way. Like, how do their feet end up? Am I in the same foot position, or am I
Mhm.
switching from offensive to defense? Like, it's a lot of that.
and the best part about that kind of like that form of reading a manual that way is if they don't tell you about the in between,
Mm-hmm.
you can ask 100 different people, how did we get from here to here? And you will get
100 different
100
ways.
different answers.
Yeah. And y'all get there, but you get there in different ways.
Because like that Gen form manual that I had, I was reading it one way, and then a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to borrow it, and so he read it a different way. So one day we met up, and in kind of like my backyard, I was living in a different apartment at the time, and I kind of had a backyard.
Yeah.
We started doing our version of the form
Yeah.
that we had learned, and the other person is kind of sitting on the back porch watching.
Yeah.
And then we'd switch places, and then we sat down and like, okay, why do you think that getting from this stance to this stance, why do you think that's how they got there?
Yeah.
And the really sad part is we were both completely wrong. Because many, many years later, I got on YouTube and looked up the actual official form that they do in competitions, and it looked completely different than how either one of us was doing it.
You just had a different form, that's all.
Exactly.
You had a different version of the form.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend in college. We would read the manual, and then we would both try to figure out how they did it. And we'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, does this make sense? Does this look right to you? What about this way? And we're both like doing weird poses, like in the middle of, the college campus, trying to figure out how they did it.
Uh-huh.
That's what college is for. That, like, stand funny and just figure things out.
Ruby
Yeah,
said, be more careful. Yeah.
I should have walked the area better. I really should have.
Did great walking all over the park today. That's good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's much better. I don't think I sprained it. I definitely didn't break anything.
May have overworked Dawn. That doesn't surprise me.
She sat down, she had water, and she had an apple as soon as she realized something was wrong.
Had to tell her to sit down.
No paracord was needed.
No dawning.
She did sit down.
You both not fail differently. Yes.
Right. You both failed successfully?
Yes, exactly. I didn't find 300 ways to not make a light bulb. I found 300 ways that it doesn't work.
Right, yeah.
So, of all the manuals that you've actually read, which one is your favorite?
Okay, we're gonna exclude Nick's because that's different. God, the favorite one I've read. Dang. Shoot. Cheat and kind of look over here. Probably Gigante, but that's just because I kind of favor that style.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. I mean, Hot Dumpster Juice was just fun because it was so bad.
Oh my god, that sounded horrible.
Right. I mean, it just got so ridiculous. It got just terrible.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll go with this one.
Ooh.
If you could learn a style that wasn't European, what would you choose?
Ooh. So one that I actually know nothing about that I would kind of like to know more. Russian.
Ooh, okay.
Because I know nothing about it at all. So I would like to see what they do.
Yes, besides
Besides crab style, yeah, I want to know crab style.
I think. Okay,
Oh,
we have to back up to before the stream started so that you understand what we're talking about.
Oh my god!
There is an old kung fu movie called Heroes of the East,
Oh.
and the basic premise of the movie is a misunderstanding between a Japanese woman and a Chinese man. And that causes the Japanese woman's family to come to China to kick the Chinese man's butt. And you have a whole bunch of different fights that showcase the difference between Japanese style of fighting and Chinese style of fighting. You know, you have Tian versus Katana. You have butterfly swords versus Sai. And then you have an unarmed fight, and the Japanese guy shows up with crab style. Now, you need to have a visual, so excuse me.
Now, keep in mind, I took a drink right when he showed me this.
So you have the Chinese guy getting into a stance, and you have a Japanese guy who does this. Crab style! So I think...
Yeah, definitely crab style.
After we're done here, if you have enough time before, Last Man Standing, go on YouTube. And I think if you look up Heroes of the East crab style fight, you can find it.
Oh my god.
It's relatively short, but it is hilarious. So, yeah, I could hear her laughing in the back room.
As soon as he said crab style, I just heard Foxy laughing over the speaker.
She watched the movie with me.
Oh my god.
It was... Yeah. So now anytime that we want to make the other person laugh, there's a handful of things that we do. And one of them, which, for the love of God, if you're ever in a serious situation, like, say, a wedding, do not, a wedding, a funeral, don't look at your partner and go, crap.
I was like, at least a wedding is for joyous, feelings.
Yes, but it was during the vows when you're supposed to be all serious and shit, and she just looked at me and goes,
it's beautiful. Not cackling.
Like, oh, you don't.
It's cheating. Oh.
Yeah, see, exactly. It became our thing in our relationship when we want to make each other laugh. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, gosh. That's great.
Carl had to run that back. I'll do it again if you want me to.
Wait, just make a little animation out of it.
Great to have something like that in your life. We have several things like that. We've been together for 24, 25 years. If we want to make the other person laugh, there's lots and lots. No.
Yes.
No.
Yep. It's too late. Carl's already got access to it.
Every once in a while, if I'm just feeling goofy, when we have our little dance parties for Nick's ad,
yep,
I'll hop up and do crab style.
I usually am just in the background, like, yep.
What are your daily drills like?
So fun. So very fun. They definitely don't make my arms tired at all. And I definitely don't do to myself what I do to my students.
Oh, of course not. Why would you ever want to do that?
Right? So I go through, all the positions. I go through all the guards. I do the lunges. Crab. Oh god.
Why?
Basically, I go through all the drills that I've given to Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do Ruby.
Oh,
The
that's
4-point
yeah.
lunge. I've slacked off on the lunges because of my ankle.
Well, yeah.
Been a good noodle. And then it's not a daily thing, but it's a drill I do occasionally. I'll hang a ball, like a
Mm-hmm.
light ping pong ball or something, and use that for point control, and just throw shots at it, that kind of thing. So much fun. Yeah.
So I know I've like showed this to a million other people, but have you ever looked at the Myers Square website and
Yes.
done drills with that?
I have not, because I'm always afraid the cats are going to get me and I'm going to
Yeah.
break a monitor.
Yeah.
Because I actually use that stick of wood back there in my house for drilling.
Mm.
So yeah, that's my drill stick.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I tried to hang a ball. Indigo would try and I could, and he
Yeah.
could probably jump high enough that like no matter where I could hang it, he could probably reach if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
I could just see, hanging something right over here and him
Geez.
jumping off that
Rip it
couch
down.
back there. Pow!
Yeah. Yeah, just rip it down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use tape on the door frame and then
That
just
works
like
too.
a string. That way, if it does get ripped down, it's not permanent.
Not gonna hurt nothing. You're not putting like hooks
Yeah.
in the ceiling or
Yeah.
anything.
Or it's not hanging from the fan like I used to do.
With cats?
We didn't have cats at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this was pre-cat time. It was a cat toy, but we didn't have cats. And I would just hang it from the fan and then take it off when I was done. That would be awesome, Kitty.
Yeah. See, when she first started training with me, other than dance, she had like no training whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, and she tried to do the whole, well, I don't know how to fight. I'm like, you're a dancer. You already have footwork. All we have to do is adapt your footwork to fighting instead of dancing. So she ran the friggin' gamut of weapons with me until we found rope dart. We tried Tian and Dao, and she's like, no. And then she bought a wooden rondel trainer along with a book from Purple Heart Armory.
Yeah.
Did that for a while.
Yeah.
And she felt like they had to get too close to her for that to be effective. And she wanted something that like farther away.
Yeah.
So we tried staff and spear, and she's like, it's too rigid. And I went,
other end of the spectrum.
Let's go not rigid. And she's like, what do you mean? So I showed her a video of, we started with Meteor Hammer, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, again, I talked about that in my video I posted today, but the difference between a rope dart and a Meteor Hammer is what's on the end of the rope. Meteor Hammer, shut up, Carl, has a ball on the end.
Just one.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
And rope dart usually has a weighted metal dart on the end. So we started with the Meteor. She told me, because I had to like, okay, you've learned from me what I can teach you. Now you have, because I don't do Meteor Hammer. That's not, no. So you're going to have to go and find your own. And she was practicing something And this is just what she told me. So, if she wants to tell the story herself, but she was practicing and somehow hit herself in the ass with her own weapon.
It was telling her she was doing a good job.
She cracked herself in the tailbone with a meteor hammer. And some of those are hollow, but still.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant.
Swinging 2.5 pound coming and cracking you in the tailbone.
Oh God, yeah, that would hurt.
Yes, I know you were behaving, but still. So then she started doing rope dart, and then she found on Amazon a rope dart with a spearhead on the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she went and bought that, and she's been practicing with that since. And then I had to tell her, okay, you found your weapon, but don't practice with the sharp, pointy thing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, exactly. The spearhead is better? No, but the spearhead, it can veer off,
Yeah. Maybe the flat of it will hit instead.
It'll spank her instead of stabbing her in the butt. Yeah.
Right.
I'll see. I'm pretty sure I can find it because But yeah, I had to tell her, you can go and find your own teacher.
Yeah.
And she found, Flow Mayhem on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I mentioned this in my video earlier today, but they're doing performance, but a lot of the moves they're actually using are actual rope dart moves.
Yeah.
So you're doing rope dart. You're just...
Yeah. It's just how you apply it.
Pretty much. Okay. What is your all-time favorite Kung Fu movie?
The Crippled Avengers. I love that movie so much.
I think... I'll have to go and look, but I think when Dragon Dynasty was actually still running, which they're not anymore, I think they did a re-release of Crippled Avengers.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Yeah. I started watching it because we ended up with El Rey channel. And I was like, oh, it's one of the shoot 'em up, whatever, action shows, channels. And then they were doing Kung Fu Thursdays.
Ooh.
They would just show Kung Fu movies Thursday nights. And I know that Crippled Avengers was the first one because I was like, what is this? And I thought it was a parody of the Avengers because it had already come out.
Yeah.
And then I started watching it. I'm like, this is magnificent. But it was that era. They were just showing all those Kung Fu movies, and it was the same guys, all their stuff, and just fell in love.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's...
Oh.
There you go.
Well, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That's really pretty.
That is her spearhead on a string. So I had to help basically design a training version so that she could practice safely.
Yeah.
Yep. Trying to wrap the rope around my thigh for a direction change. Yep.
Ow.
Right in the tailbone.
Oh. There's nothing you can do about that.
Not really, no. Just avoid sitting if you can. I don't know.
All right. Well, sitting, laying down. Oh.
So I went and designed a training version, which ended up being more of a meteor hammer than a rope dart, but it's a racquetball,
Okay.
and you drill a hole in it, and you go and buy chain from like hardware store or something,
Yeah.
and you take just a couple lengths of chain and you hook it in those drilled holes, tie the rope to the end. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a lot better than getting hit with. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Mom's broken her tailbone, so is mine.
Oh.
It's just a green room story. Yeah, probably.
Oof. Oops.
So I suppose I can tell a little story.
Story time.
This was back when I was very, very first. I mean, I did Mantis with my first Shifu in middle school. He died of old age because he was ancient. And for several years, probably 3 or 4 years, I didn't learn any new martial arts. So there's a specific kind of step in some Mantis forms. And if you're learning a basic Mantis form, going to have to back up again. You're going to do a lot of knees together, heel, toe, step.
Okay.
Heel, toe, step. I had unfortunately lost that lovely little knowledge because I had not been training for a while. So this is the story of how I broke my ankle.
Oh.
And technically it was broken, even though the doctors called it a class 3 sprain. It was actually broken. And I know this because shortly after I broke it, I went on summer vacation with my parents. And I was sitting around with not much to do. And I looked at my ankle, and there was like, right in the center of my ankle was like a tiny little pyramid point.
Oh.
That was the bone. So I reached down and I touched it, and it kind of fell back down. So I could touch my ankle bone and go like this and move the chunk of bone around my ankle.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
You're not.
Or be able to do that anyway.
You're not, but so I'm gonna try and not. It's a little green roomy, but it's not like bad. I was dating a girl, and yes, for the people who have heard my green room stories, yes, it was that girl.
Oh.
She was living with her sister. My mom dropped me off over there so that we could hang out for a while. Yeah. And we were walking around the house. Don't know why. Maybe just wanted fresh air.
Something to do.
Something to do besides make out like horny teenagers. And at the time, her bedroom was in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go outside, if you go out the front door and walk around the corner, her bedroom window is at the bottom of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking around outside, and for absolutely no reason that I could think of at the time, she stopped and was bending over and looking in her bedroom window.
Okay.
And me, being a dumb, horny 16-year-old boy, thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to run up behind her and slap her on the ass. Because she was bent over in front of me. So I go running, smack her. Now, there was a small divot in the ground right in front of where she was standing. I was not aware of this divot. So when I ran up, my ankle sideways caught the edge of the divot and rolled this way. My foot stopped at the edge. My upper body kept going.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Crack.
Yep.
And then, because I was a dumb teenager and my mother was not supposed to come and pick me up for at least 45 minutes, I continued to walk on it.
Ow.
Because here I am, young and stupid, and I'm like, if I can walk on it, it's obviously not broken. So I limped for probably half hour, 45 minutes.
Trying to walk it off.
It wasn't getting any better.
Uh-huh.
Oh, don't. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I already filmed the video of the Peace Gardens where I broke my hip.
Yeah, lucky you didn't crack your head on that thing.
Yeah, when the EMT ran over to me, the first thing she asked me was, "Did you hit your head?" And I went, "I don't think so."
And they're like, "That's not a good answer."
Maybe.
Not that I remember.
My mom comes and picks me up, takes me back home, and she goes and does her every 2-week grocery shopping. So she's gone for an hour and a half.
Yep.
And I'm lying in my bed, and my ankle, as soon as I got home, I struggled to take my shoe off.
Oh no. Yeah, the swelling.
I took my shoe off and my ankle just went.
Oh no.
And so I'm sitting there going, that's not a good sign.
No.
So my mom gets home from grocery shopping and she yells from the back door, "Are you going to help me come and unload these groceries?" And I
can't walk.
I went, "No." And she got all pissed, like, "Well, why the hell not?" So I literally hopped down the hallway from my bedroom, stood at the back door, lifted my pant leg off and went, "'Cause of this." And you have to understand my mother, she flipped the hell out. This is the same woman that when we went whitewater rafting and I fell out of the boat.
Oops.
And they had to use the oar that I was still holding on to.
Yep. I
had to reach the oar out and they grabbed it and pulled me back in the boat. I was back in the raft and she's screaming outside, "Get back in the boat!" I'm like, "Mom, hi.
Okay.
I'm over here. I'm fine." So she's freaking, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like,
It hurts.
So she gave me a bag of frozen peas and she's like, if the swelling has not gone down by the time I'm done putting groceries, we're going to the emergency room.
Yeah.
So I'm laying in bed with a bag of frozen peas on my ankle, doing the Kill Bill wiggle your big toe, going, "Go down."
Unswell.
It didn't work, and I ended up in the emergency room. I had to wear a cast and then a boot.
Yeah, definitely sprained.
Class 3 sprain. There's literally a chunk of bone.
Jeez.
Does sound like a miniseries. Oh, the stories I could tell.
I was going to say, especially since you just included falling out of a boat during rafting.
Oh, yeah. every year
Jesus, come on.
we went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming for our summer vacation for a week. She's been with me twice. And one of the excursions they have you do is go whitewater rafting down the Snake River.
Okay.
And the first year that we went, it was just a scenic tour.
Okay.
So there were no rapids at that time. And they just kind of, oh, look, there's a moose, and there's a bird, and there's a tree.
Nature.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of enjoyed that. But that first year, it was me, my parents, my older brother, and my younger sister. And we get to the end of the scenic area, and the boat guide goes, well, we're coming up on the last corner. So if anyone wants to, experience jumping in the Snake River, my brother drops his oar, goes to the front of the boat, and just bloop, dives right in the water.
All right.
And the tour guide goes, I was kidding, but okay. He literally turns and looks at my family and goes, I've never had anyone actually jump in the water before.
Is your brother younger or older than you?
No, he's older. He's 3 years older.
Okay.
My brother was born in 77. I was born in 80. My sister was in 83.
Yeah. I'm seeing a pattern here. He jumps in the river. You get tased. Like,
yeah. But
okay. All right. You guys are down for experiences.
They have you straddle the raft. So
Yeah.
you have 1 foot in the freezing cold water.
Yeah.
And of course, your other foot's not actually that much drier because when you hit the rapids, the water splashes in anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere.
So I had done this several times. And just 1 year on the very, very first rapid, they tell you, lean forward, hold on to your oar, and just paddle through the rapid.
Yeah.
We hit that first rapid, and the boat goes down and up, which it had done every single year. And I'm expecting to get splashed with water. So when I feel surrounded by water, I'm like,
oh, this
shit.
isn't boat.
And my head comes up out of the water, and they're yelling for me, and I just took my oar and just reached out, and the guide grabbed it and pulled me back in the boat. Then, of course, he's like, you want to go back to your spot rowing? I'm like, no, I'm cold, dude. I don't want to.
You warm up by moving. Get back in there.
And the worst part about that is you literally have 1 foot dangling in the freezing cold water so that when you're done and you get out of the water and you help pull the raft back up on the shore, your 1 foot is completely numb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get out, and I'm stepping down going, where's the ground? I can't feel the ground. They're like, you're standing on it.
I can't feel it.
Where's the ground? Yeah. Good thing I said delivery for dinner for later. In like 20 minutes.
We're only a little after.
We're fine.
We're fine.
But it's literally things like that where because the boat guy was like, I am incredibly impressed that you kept your hand on the oar through that. And I'm like,
you clutch things.
Really? He's like, most people, when they fall out of the boat, the first thing we see is the oar float up out of the water. You kept a hold of it the whole time.
It was cold. Clutch.
Like, bro, I am a martial artist. It's like situational awareness plus I'm not going to drop my weapon.
Right? Like, this is the one thing I've got.
This is my lifeline right here. I'm holding on to this thing.
I've read Hatchet. I know I got to keep something to keep me alive. Especially if there's a moose over there. Come on.
Oh, no. The very first time after we did the scenic, when we did a scenic and whitewater, it was half and half. So And the stupid bastards, they had to do scenic, then you stopped for lunch,
No,
then you went whitewater rafting.
After lunch?
Yes, after eating.
Oh, that's... How often did they have to clean out those boats?
I don't know, but the one
them
thing
out?
I was glad of is we never lost our boat guide, because the place that you go to sign up for these whitewater rafting trips, they have pictures in the windows.
Okay.
And there was one picture that I always loved seeing, and it's a picture of the raft pointed down in the water, and the boat guide, here's his seat. The guide is here in the air. He got bounced out of his own boat. And they always tell you, if you lose the guide, do your best to help get him back inside, but he's kind of trained for that, so he should be okay. We never lost our guide, but
that would be a little disconcerting to lose the professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, okay, what do we do now?
You run this every single day or however long you do it, and you got bounced out, we're screwed, dude.
Right.
We're gonna. But
we're supposed to stop, man. Like,
that first time, they decided that they were going to be funny.
Oh no!
So we get done with the scenic part. We eat lunch, get back on the water, and you start hearing banjos.
I'm not gonna lie. When we lived on the river, we used to do that to people.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Because,
they thought they were funny.
It was funny. Pedal faster, guys.
Literally, the boat guy goes, "You seen Deliverance?
Yep.
I want to paddle faster."
Yep.
Like, you jackass.
Got a purty mouth.
Got something. Oh, yeah. Well, that's... Oh, no, wait. There was one more question. That was up closer to the top. Have you noticed being a martial artist has helped you remain more calm with aspects of work?
It's helped me realize a lot more often when people are just puffing up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got nothing. Like, this isn't worth it. You've got nothing. There's nothing to be gained by this fight. What do I gain? There's a lot of that now.
Yeah.
Like, I could fight this fight, but what do I gain from it?
Why? Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Just.
So that's a good question. Have you ever actually had to use anything that you have learned in an actual fight? Not could you, because I'm sure you could, but have you ever had to in a situation where there was no other choice?
No, I've actually not been in a fight as an adult. Because now I've gotten pretty good about nope, just nope. I was in Walmart one time, and I'm checking.
Of course, it was in Walmart.
Always Walmart, I'm checking out, and I hear somebody go. They were talking about shooting somebody, and my first thought was, if I go over there, I'm out of line of sight, and they won't be able to shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, good God, okay, we're leaving now.
Bye.
Yep, just nope. Mm-mm.
Oh, yes. Have any stories where you're training to get out of danger? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, things like that. Just diverting it. No. There's a whole lot more of just, no, we're not doing that.
I don't know if I probably have mentioned this story, but that same person that was our our house king, we're no longer friends with. And he walked up to Foxy's brother once in Walmart while he was carrying 2 children and punched him in the stomach.
Foxy's brother was carrying the children?
Mm-hmm.
What the?
His arms were full, and this jackass walks up and just right in the gut.
Why?
Oh, that's a whole kind of green room story.
Oh.
The reason that we're not friends anymore, let's just say this. This man orchestrated a problem so that we could no longer be friends. And we'll just leave it there for now. We might be able to get into it more for because it is kind of a green roomy story, but
yeah. Gotcha.
And we found out later that he had done this to multiple other people.
Yeah.
And people are no longer useful to him. Instead of just ghosting them or just being like, hey, let's not just
hey, we've grown apart.
Yeah. No, he orchestrates problems so that he can stop being friends with people. Well,
I've met some people like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he tried doing that to me.
Yeah.
Now, Foxy's brother, despite the fact that he does have a little bit of skill, I will give him that.
Yeah.
He is not a martial artist. Most of what he knows on sword fighting comes from watching anime.
Because that's a very reliable source on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how you want to learn how to sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
But he tried doing it to me. I was walking out of a store. I was walking out. He's walking in. As we pass, he tried doing the same thing. He used his body to hide it and went to punch me in the stomach. Now, the issue here is I am a trained martial artist.
Yeah.
So when I felt
you're telegraphing
come in contact with my stomach, I wrapped my arm around his wrist, grabbed his wrist, pulled, stuck my foot out, and kept walking.
Yep.
So he went to punch, just grabbed his fist, stuck my foot out, pulled him, and kept walking. I didn't even look back. I just kept walking into the store.
Nice.
I felt the intention because I knew that he had done it to someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And I could see because when we were walking past each other, we were about this far apart at first.
Yeah.
And then he started angling towards me. I'm
like,
oh,
yeah. He telegraphed hard.
Uh-huh. This is someone that supposedly took several years of karate.
Yeah.
Walmart Fight Club.
First rule of Walmart Fight Club: keep it in Walmart.
People of Walmart.
Oh God, people of Walmart.
Foxy must really intimidate him because he's never tried coming after. He's never tried coming after you because you scare the shit out of him. She does. She doesn't understand. She has asked me several times, why do I intimidate people? I am short and I am fat and I am gimpy. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. It's the way that you carry yourself. You carry yourself in such a way that you don't realize because you are in your body all the time. But you carry yourself in a way that tells people, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much so.
It's just like I have been approached multiple times at events here in town by military people asking me when I served. And I'm like, I haven't.
Yeah. I've had people ask me, oh, were you military? And I'm like, not even close, no. Dude. I'm depressed and overweight. They do not want me.
No. It's all in the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Martial artists and soldiers carry themselves in such a way that you can recognize it. And unless unless you know the difference, you're going to think they're the same thing.
Yeah. It builds a certain posture into you
Mm-hmm.
just by working those muscles
Mm-hmm.
and by the repetition of um what you practice.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that don't know the difference assume
They
it's the
don't.
same thing.
Yeah, they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And this is true. You just don't take shit, and it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And people don't know how to handle that.
It also probably doesn't hurt that you're either with me,
Mm.
and he knows I will put his ass in the dirt if he tries, or if you're not, you have a weapon. You have a cane, you have a stick, you have a bludgeon. He doesn't want to deal with that.
You also come across as somebody that when you say or do something, it's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like if you start to beat somebody, it's going to be a beating.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
All right. It has been almost 2 hours, and I'm out of questions.
Oh,
We've had some good peanut gallery questions tonight.
right?
I've had some good questions. Thank you, Carl. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's always fun sitting and talking with you.
You too. I really enjoyed, like, we have differences in opinion on things, but it's oh geez, how do you put this? It's like cordial differences. It's not the kind of, well, that's not how I would do it. Well, okay, but
Okay. It's not personal. We don't make it personal. It's not, "Ugh, well, then you're dumb if you don't do it this way." It's, "Oh, you do it
like
that way. Okay. I never would have thought of it that way."
I like the very first video that I ever posted on this channel was me at our local variety show doing a Shaolin sword form.
Mhm.
And I got one comment from someone going, "You should be ashamed of yourself. You're dishonoring Chinese martial art. That's not the way that my school teaches it. You're doing it wrong."
Your school. Your school. How many
And of
different
course, this
styles do
was
you know? Yeah, yeah. See, I got a question for you.
Well, okay.
That's great. You know several.
I do. And here's the thing. When I was training with my local Shifu that also are no longer friends anymore, I learned multiple forms from him. And
Okay.
one of the things he would do in his classes is he would teach you the form and then teach you applications of some of the moves, not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I have a binder in the other room of every single certificate he's given me.
Yeah.
I don't remember all of those forms.
Yeah.
And he was Taiwanese military.
Oh,
so
snap.
to be part of his demonstration team,
Yeah.
he wanted you to do things that to me were not important or necessary.
Okay.
To be part of his demonstration team, he wanted you to do standing 200 kicks with each leg without stopping and without stumbling. You had to do 200 straight all the way through. If you stopped, you had to start over again on both legs.
That is excessive.
Why do I need to be able to do that if I can look at someone doing a form that I don't know and be like, that's not right?
When will you ever need to stand in one place to do 200 kicks? Ever?
Nope.
When? No matter what. Like, when? Like, hang on. you guys line up, and I'm going to kick all 200 of you. Just keep walking at me. It's fine.
Just walk it style.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep falling over. It's fine. Just no, that's ridiculous, and it has no practical application.
Yeah, why is that necessary to be able to teach other people forms and applications of forms?
No, it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. But I have a binder of every certificate he's given me. Now, I think it was in one of the classes that I was assistant teaching in.
Yeah.
He would teach you the form, and he would be impressed if people could learn multiple forms in 3 months. If you're learning 4 or 5 or 6 forms in 3 months, you're not actually learning the form. You can repeat it, repetition, you can do the form, but you don't actually understand it.
Okay. Yeah, you've memorized the motions, but you don't know why you're doing them.
Don't know why. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But there was one person that I was assistant teaching who were doing the mantis form, and you get to the end, and he has you perform the form by yourself in front of the entire class. And if you pass, he hands you the certificate.
Okay.
That's you have successfully completed learning this form.
Okay.
Well, there was one kid. He went and did the form in front of the class, and Sherpa walks up to him, hands him the certificate, and he goes, "Now, if anyone ever asks you who taught you this form, don't give them my name."
What?
Then why are you passing him?
Why on earth? That doesn't make any sense. If he did it wrong, teach him to do it correctly.
Yes.
Because if you're doing it incorrectly, you're going to get hurt probably.
Probably.
And that doesn't make any sense. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, there are multiple reasons why we're not friends anymore, but she took the class first, and she took Tai Chi, and when it was her turn to do the Yang 24, she was having like a blood sugar crash.
Oh no.
She didn't do it very well.
Yeah.
And he gave her the certificate anyway, because he could tell that she knew the form, but her body was like, today? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But I could probably go and count the certificates that I have and tell you how many of them I have, but most of those forms I don't remember anymore.
Oh yeah.
I learned them because he wanted to teach them to me, and then it's like, okay, I learned it now. Whatever.
Yeah. Now, do you consider the forms separate styles, or are they just
yes and no?
Okay.
Because like I have 2 different sword forms, but they're both from Shaolin.
Okay.
Most of them are Shaolin, Shaolin staff, Shaolin spear.
Okay.
So they're from the same school, you could say, but it is kind of a different style.
Gotcha.
That's the way I think of it. So yeah.
Okay.
But my food is going to be here soon, so.
Oh snap! Yeah. I ate before the show, so you're probably starving.
But this was fun. We might one of these days. I really want to get like you and Foxy together on like a panel show.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
You two. I'll just sit back and let you guys go, because that would be entertaining.
Just be like, here is a subject. Expand.
Go. But I will be back next week. I have a plan, but I'm not going to tell anybody. You're just going to have to wait and see.
Ooh, a surprise.
It will not be martial arts. It will be cultural. It'll be something that certain people that I know of have struggled with, and that's why I'm doing it.
Nice.
But it has been over 2 hours, and my food will be here soon, so I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming back on. This was awesome.
Yes, it's been so much fun. Anytime.
Maybe we'll do part 3. Who knows?
Anytime.
Just turn on the camera and go. Just
right.
Good night, everybody. And 再见.